Sin didn't practice because of his knee, and then Lamar got a concussion. Marcus got a groin pull, about 70%. So we had about 7 guys. So it's that time of year, I guess.
You all going to play tomorrow?
Looks like Sin. I mean, he practiced today, which is a good sign. But his is day to day. You know, he wakes up funny. And Tavian, I'd say about 30%, which is a big loss. Lamar won't play. Lamar's got concussions.
And then I saw Marcus practice.
Marcus will play.
How did Lamar get a concussion? He just banged heads with someone?
We practiced and kind of got hit. Ran into that wall over there.
I think yesterday.
I heard you say that these next 4 games are really key for you. Looking at the schedule, just numbers-wise, it looks like they're winnable. What makes it so important for you guys?
Well, I mean, we're 6-3. If you can win, now you're in the race. But we had to win tomorrow. That's a big game. They're good. Like, their record's misleading because they didn't have Stockard or Griffin early in the season. They were 2 really good players. They were hurt for the first 7-8 games. So they didn't look like they don't look like they're any good. But now you look, right now they're playing with all the good teams in the league neck and neck. There's not one team in this league that they can't beat. And you know, they got those 2 guys that have been in NCAA tournament games. Stockard has taken that jump. And he jumped last year at the end where he was as good as the other 2 guys, Adams and
Mobley. Right.
What's his name?
Matt.
Yeah, Mobley.
Mobley.
Yeah, Mobley. And he took that jump, and then Griffith took a jump, and then you add the center. They got the 6'11" guy that they beat Syracuse and those guys on that shot blocks, and then they got a really good freshman point guard. So they're as good as any of these teams we've played to this point, I think.
Your message getting through to these guys?
I mean, we're getting there. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I mean, you know, when Sin's practicing as little as he is, you know, he kind of takes the group and gets them to go, kind of. You know, and then you take Tavian out of the mix, so like we're gonna have to live with just an intellectual practice sometimes more than a physical practice until we get all our guys back. So we can still get better without, you know, doing it how we used to do it. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. Just trying to get better in a different way.
Without Tavian, maybe without Tavian, without Lamar, you assume that puts a bigger role on Brandon Wade's plate?
I mean, there's nobody else. He's capable. Like, this is a good opportunity for him. I think the biggest thing we lose with Tavian that's very evident is like Sin can break down the defense, right? And then when we kick to Tavian, he can shoot, drive, pass, or score. So he's a secondary breakdown guy, especially when he gets an angle, when he doesn't have to do it on his own all the time, right? So Sin's the primary guy, Tavian's the next guy, but Frank and E are more catch and shoot guys. They're not going to create for other people as much, so that's where we get hurt a little bit, you know, in the grand scheme. And then, you know, he's shooting 48%, I think, in the league, 3-point. You know, so he's our most consistent. But again, like, we got to step up and play. And the third part of that is we play a little tired without him too, because we play more minutes with the other 2.
Sorry.
Yeah, technical difficulties. It's all right, Jay.
Nobody knows where I'm at. That's why they don't know I'm here.
I like you anyway. You can ring-a-ling all.
You didn't forgot to tell someone you were here.
Yeah.
With Brandon, have you seen him make progress throughout the season? Like, I know he's kind of been struggling from outside shooting.
He's been at a difficult spot.
Yeah.
So he's a comfort guy, and he hasn't gotten comfortable yet, and it's not his fault. You know, he's going to play. Look, he's going to be a good player. I'd be shocked if he wasn't a good player. He's got some things he has to work on.
Such as?
But he's been in a tough role, really. Because the minute he comes in, the pressure increases because they know he hasn't played a lot, right? A backup point guard can't make mistakes. The starting point guard can, right? A backup, a substitute has to be solid as could be. So that's hard for a young kid. It's hard to know when to be aggressive and when not to be aggressive. And then he's got a relatively short leash because the guy that's playing ahead of him's had an unbelievable year.
So to be clear, the guy who will be the point guard if Sin and Tavian can't play would be Frankie?
No, Brandon.
Oh, Brandon. Oh, okay.
We don't have another one.
You?
If we're, and if we get caught, well, I won't say it. I'll wait till the game. But if we got caught, we got another guy that we can use if we have to. You use your brain. That is willing to help us. Which I give him a lot of credit.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a big time team move.
Mm-hmm.
He's willing to help us if we're in a bind, which tells you about him.
You don't want to say it because.
Well, it's counting, but
Oh, he could come back.
Yeah, like if we only have 7 that can go tomorrow, he'll play tomorrow, which is good. That's the beauty of him practicing.
Mm-hmm.
But I give him credit because a lot of guys wouldn't want to do that, but he'll do whatever it takes to help us win.
I heard you say Mike Hughes is having to do a little bit too much inside to the guys. Is that something?
Well, what I told him was our defensive numbers aren't good enough to win championships, and that's with Mike blocking 4 shots a game.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine how bad we'd be if he wasn't blocking 4 shots a game. We didn't lead the league in block shots. I mean, that's not a good statistic. So now we've improved at the 3-line defensively, but our defense still isn't good enough to win at the highest level, and it let us down at crunch time against Dayton. We made some mistakes.
Do you see his blocks coming on post touches, or his blocks coming when he's filling for somebody else?
He's coming to help. That's why we have rebounding issues at times too, because he's coming to block, and you have to chip down with your guard who's a little smaller than the big guy. So we're getting beat at the point of attack, which makes him have to come and help, which makes the next guy have to chip down. So it's a cumulative effect of not guarding the ball good enough, which could be ball screen defense, could be one-on-one defense, could be transition. But he's done I had him for a year at Akron and a year here, and I didn't know that was him. I didn't know he could shot block like that. It's crazy you could be around a guy that long and not know it.
He's gotten bigger and stronger, I think.
No, he's gotten actually lighter.
Leaner.
He's gotten leaner. He was about 260 at Akron. I think he's about 230 now. But when we had Zeke Marshall, I didn't know it until we got to the games because he was so tired he couldn't block in practice. But once he got in the game, I knew he could shot block. This guy, I had no idea he could do that. He's done unbelievable. You figure 4 shot blocks a game in the league for a guy that's only 6'8". That's crazy. That's a crazy statistic. That's some of the best in the country, I think.
How is a team with all these issues 6-3?
I don't know. That's a really good. If you look at the statistics, if you analyze those statistics, we shouldn't be 15-6. But sometimes the numbers don't add up. Because what happens is if you look at it, the conference games, every game's been within 6. So pretty much every game's a 1-possession game for the most part, right? Every game. Doesn't matter who we played. So at the end of the game, whoever makes the plays wins, both offensively and defensively. And we got the one guy. The one guy is special. He can affect the game at both ends of the floor, and he has this competitive, burning desire to win, right? And that allows you to win. I'm not putting it all on him, but if we win, he's going to make plays for other people.
Sincere.
Yeah, and he missed a couple of the last game, but for the most part, he's made plays when it mattered for us at both ends. And he's so competitive it rubs off on the others. That's why we win, in my opinion. And we have enough at every spot. If we ever shot the ball at a higher clip from the 3-line, we'd win even more. Like to shoot, what do we shoot, 31.8? Is that what we're shooting, Dave? Come on, you don't know that? He's getting old. So we're around 31.8. If we shoot 35, or 38 like good shooting teams do, now we got something.
Oh, 31-9.
Pretty good. Huh?
What are you going to do when you get in the last 2 minutes of a game and you're up by 12? I mean, how are you going to feel? I mean, you're not going to.
I probably never will all year.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't think we'll be up 12 at any point in the last 2 minutes.
It's because the way things are.
That's the way we're built.
Team.
And we're a little light in the shorts right now. That's the thing that scares me at the end of the game. You have to have enough energy to win the game. Right now, we're a little bit slim. We're playing guys too many minutes.
Those 4 guys who are hurt.
Look, man, we're messing with fire with this point guard playing 40 minutes and 38 minutes a game. It's too much for his physical condition. If he didn't have a bad knee, it would be too much. But it's too much for his situation.
Is he going to need any procedure after the season?
Maybe, maybe not.
You could probably use Mike Lewis right now.
I mean, look, we can view it with injuries. Yes, I mean you can view it any way you want. It also made some guys comfortable when he's not here anymore, right? So Frank gets more minutes. Tavian got more minutes. Mike Lewis is a good player. There's no debating that. We probably had too many guys at that point to be a good team. So somebody had to. I mean, somebody didn't have to leave, but somebody. We would have had chemistry issues. We would have had disgruntledness. We still have it. I mean, kids today, they don't want to wait. And I don't want anybody that really wants to wait on my team. Right? You don't want anybody that's, oh, it's okay, I don't care if I play. So it's a double-edged sword. We still got practice every day hard.
Yeah.
Good question, though. Did I answer that good?
You always do.
Appreciate it.